Economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal see a stronger U.S. economy under President Trump than previously expected, with lower recession risk, more job creation, and easing inflation. GDP growth projections for Q4 2024 have been revised upward to 1% as confidence improves following Trump's strategic pause on some tariffs. The labor market remains solid, with unemployment falling to 4.1% and job gains averaging 150,000 per month, reflecting continued economic resilience. Contrary to earlier fears, Trump's tariff policies have not triggered runaway inflation, with core inflation at its lowest in 4 years and projected to remain manageable. Trump's broader economic agenda, including tax cuts and trade measures, is expected to provide modest growth boosts, even as immigration reforms balance out some of the gains. President Trump is escalating tariffs on major trading partners starting August 1st, aiming for higher tariffs regardless of whether trade deals are reached. Despite few new deals and initial skepticism, Trump has successfully raised the average effective tariff rate on U.S. imports to 13.4%, the highest since the 1940s. Trump views tariffs not as leverage for negotiation, but as an end goal to make other countries pay for access to the U.S. market and fund domestic priorities. Many traditional checks on presidential trade authority have weakened, and Trump now operates with broader unilateral power, facing little retaliation from allies. While Trump claims victory in his trade war, the long-term impact on the U.S. economy remains uncertain as higher tariffs begin to raise consumer prices. During the White House summit, African leaders publicly endorsed the idea of President Trump receiving the Nobel Peace Prize, aligning with his long-held interest in elite accolades. Trump responded positively to the praise, with leaders like Israel's Netanyahu and officials from Pakistan having already submitted or supported nominations. Supporters cite Trump's role in negotiating ceasefires, including between Iran and Israel, and securing hostages release, while critics argue his immigration policies and authoritarian actions disqualify him. Several U.S. lawmakers have also nominated Trump, further fueling international efforts to flatter him. Despite interest and nominations, the final decision lies with the Norwegian Nobel Committee, and past controversies over Peace Prize recipients may influence Trump's chances. Ghislaine Maxwell compiled a 50th birthday album for Jeffrey Epstein in 2003, including bawdy letters from friends such as Donald Trump, with Trump's alleged letter featuring suggestive imagery and text. Trump has denied writing the letter or drawing the image, calling it fake and threatening to sue the Wall Street Journal for reporting on it. The Justice Department had previously reviewed parts of the birthday album, but it's unclear whether Trump's letter is part of the current document release process. Epstein's ties to Trump, Clinton, and other elites have resurfaced amid debates over transparency, as Attorney General Pam Bondi released limited Epstein files earlier this year. Political tensions escalated after Elon Musk accused Trump of hiding Epstein-related evidence, while Democrats demanded hearings into the administration's handling of the case. President Trump's threat to fire Fed Chair Jerome Powell has raised global concerns about the potential collapse of the Federal Reserve's independence and the consequences for economic stability. Economists and former Fed officials warned that a White House-controlled Fed could act less credibly and more slowly in crisis, weakening its effectiveness both domestically and internationally. The Fed's independence has historically allowed it to respond quickly during economic shocks, but political interference may erode its credibility, talent pool, and crisis management capacity. Trump's push for lower interest rates, particularly to counter inflation from tariffs and reduce government debt costs, risks fueling long-term inflation and financial market distortions. Market reactions to Trump's comments, including Treasury sell-offs and gold price increases, signal investor fears, with financial leaders urging the preservation of the Fed's autonomy. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent advised President Trump not to fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, warning of legal, economic, and political risks, including potential market turmoil. Bessent argued that the economy is performing well and the Fed is already leaning toward rate cuts, making Powell's removal unnecessary. Despite Trump's public denial of plans to fire Powell, his administration is intensifying criticism of the Fed's $2.5 billion headquarters renovation to justify a possible for-cause dismissal. Advisors acknowledged that firing Powell could result in a leadership vacuum and Senate resistance, while Vice Chair Philip Jefferson, a Biden appointee, would likely assume control temporarily. Trump may announce a replacement for Powell as early as September, with senior economic advisor Kevin Hassett seen as a leading candidate to shape future Fed policy.